saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. Then suddenly appeared before me the only one my heart could ever hold. I heard someone whisper, "Please adore me." And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Okay, another lesson, Blue Moon. And the reason why I picked this song is because it has a lot of similarities to the All of Me song. It's in C, and I'm going to be using some different tricks on different chords. First of all, before I begin, I get a lot of my music from theguitarguy.com, and this is a variation on this arrangement. I'm not using all his chords. In fact, I add a little bit more. But here's how I go about doing this song. The first part and the second part, the choruses are all the same. So I'm only going to go through the choruses once, and you get to figure out how to match the words to the other choruses. And I will show the verse, the bridge. Okay? Let's begin. First of all, again, I want to state that I use efficiency of fingers with chords. I'm going to play this in C. before I begin, we want to start with this G+4, I believe it is, first. It kind of gives that, there's a G7th chord. You could be playing that, but I think this sounds more interesting because it leads in. There's another point about chords is that we want to keep a note or two from the previous chord in the next chord that you're playing. It just gives a smoother transition, and I will show that a little bit later. So, Blue Moon, and I'm just going to play chords, but I wanted to show you point out one thing, is that I'm primarily holding this C note throughout these next chords. Even with that D7 here, D minor 7th here, I'm holding that chord there, and then I return back. So it's Blue Moon. You saw me standing alone. And I'm going to state one other thing. Notice what I've been doing. Because I have efficiency of fingers, I've left 2 other fingers available to do something. Watch what happens with this C major 7th chord. I grab the 2nd string on the 5th fret with my 3rd finger. So I bounce off that. And then when I grab my A minor 7th, which again I'm barring across with my 2nd finger, I'm going to grab the 5th fret on the 1st string and bounce off that. So I got this bounce here. And with this D minor 7th, it's got an F type of feel for it. I'm going to grab the F major 7th and bounce off that. So it's Blue Moon, you saw me standing alone without a... And here's where it changes a bit. It goes to a major 7th. And you notice here I'm playing this D minor 7th, but this finger is already placed. So rather than moving 2 fingers around and you playing this D7 like this, I keep this finger placed in its spot, D minor 7th, and just move my forefinger up across the 2. So I'm keeping an anchor point, and it makes a smoother transition. Dream in my heart without a love of my own. And then it goes through that same arrangement again, and towards the end it goes, someone I really could care for. And I'm going to add another chord here. A minor 7th, and then F, and then I'm going to make an F6, and then I go to this F minor chord, add the 7th, and then make it a 6th, and then grab a C9. So here's how it sounds. Someone I really could care for. And that's how I also end the song. It's really a nice effect. Someone I really could care for. And then suddenly, and I'm starting with this D minor 7th, suddenly appears for me. And I add the A minor 7th. And, you know, here's the C major 7th. And I'm going to be playing C major 7th for four beats. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I need to add a little more interest. And if you look at the A minor 6th, all I'm changing is this one note up here on the going from the B flat here to an A there. I'm sorry, a B here to an A here. And it's really not that much of a change, but it adds interest to the song. And I can do that because, hey, that's a C major 7th, that's a C6. The notes are all in the same scale. So you should be able to experiment with chords and look at the similarity between chords. You know, I always like to point out that there's if you look at the similarity between the chords, it almost speaks to you of what the next chord has to be. So let's go with this. Suddenly appear before me. Now it asks for a D minor 7th again, but I've already played that D minor 7th. I want to add interest to it. So rather than playing the D minor 7th here, I'm going to play it at the 5th fret. That's where I say you got to know your inversions. Okay? Then suddenly appeared before me the only one my heart, and I'm playing the G7 up here also, heart could ever hold. And if you notice, I do then suddenly appeared before me the only one my heart could ever hold. I'm always adding a note on the other beat with something that I can grab. And all you have to do is you have to put these little tricks in your muscle memory so when you play those chords again, you can use them. Listen to this. Then suddenly appeared before me the only one my heart could ever hold. I'm adding this A minor 7th or C6. I heard someone whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon. And all over again. Well, I hope you liked this lesson. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go through this song and look at how the chords play into one another. I pointed out the C major 7th and then the C6 or A minor 7th. We're still playing these two notes, and then to the D7 we're playing that note. You want to look at the similarities between the chords and get their relationship so you understand how they work together and how they call one another on.